Alley, the game we want to play. With hosts Ryan and Terry, it's Crokinole UK. Drain those open 20s, stack those buttons high. It's the greatest game on earth. Tune in and find out why. Hogan's Alley will get you in the mood. Don't go buying Crokinole from weirdos in the nude. Hogan's Alley, it's time to play the game. It's the greatest game on earth. Crokinole's its name.
Good morning, good evening, good day, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is where you are and wherever you are. Welcome back to Hogan's Alley, where Ryan and I are here to answer your questions. Isn't that right, buddy?
Yeah. Well, whether they'll be correct or good answers, I don't know, but we will certainly be answering because, you know, we like to talk, don't we?
We do.
Yeah.
Ryan put out some a post on Facebook and probably other places as well to say, what's your questions for us? And we'll do our best to answer them. Why did we do that? Because we're running out of stuff to talk to in the lull in between tournaments. And this seemed like a good way of just pumping out another episode.
I think before we dive into the Q&A, one little thing, and I didn't actually tell you we were going to talk about this before we started.
Why?
Which is just, and neither of us were there, but just kind of giving a shout out to the event that happened in Taunton.
I was going to talk about that later.
Sorry. I've ruined it. But yeah, feedback from the whole event looked great. The pictures looked fantastic. Everyone seems to have a really good time. There's a couple of videos floating around as well from Tracy boards, aren't there? We're featuring the finals.
There are.
So yeah, go and check those out if you've not had the opportunity to, because it looks like it was a great day, and we're certainly hearing very good things from everybody who attended. They seem to have a great time.
Everyone I know that was there that I asked about it just said, yeah, what you said. Just well organised, good venue, room to grow, great fun, blah, blah, blah. Let's do it again next year.
Yep. I particularly enjoyed the fact that in the Tracy Board's commentary, the robots became the rowboats. So I'm sure that hopefully that didn't dampen their win at all, eh?
Oh, I see what you did there.
There we go. So yeah, well done to the Rowe brothers, to the robots, for their work in organising it. And if they're happy to do it again, I would recommend, if you're in the Southwest or if you're willing to travel, go and check out that event, because it sounds like it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely knocking on the door of a tour place, I think. Although I've not had that conversation with either of the rowboats yet.
Pressure's on now, guys.
Maybe I should do it before this goes out. Oops, or maybe just leave it as a surprise.
Nah.
We'll see. We'll see how professional we are.
Well, we know that already.
Not very.
Cool. Should we dive headfirst into some questions then?
Let's go for it.
Excellent. So our first question is from Steve Jones, and it's, what's Hogan's Alley got to do with Crokinole?
Well, I'll let you be the judge at the end of the podcast, Steve, but usually very little. Sometimes it's about 50% to do with Crokinole.
Yeah.
Is the glib answer. More seriously, it's a shot in Crokinole, which is, if you're sitting down preparing a shot and you look at the pegs, it's not the middle pegs, it's the pegs to either side, and it's a shot that goes right through them and hits your opponent's disc on the other side, where they've, usually hidden at the back somewhere, like the devious swine that they are. I believe it originates from, or I know it originates from golf. And it was Ben Hogan. And I think this is where my memory's a bit cloudy. I think it was at Carnoustie when the Open was there. And instead of electing to take a kind of fairway shot, there was like a chink of light in the trees or something like that. And he threaded the ball down there, and it became known as Hogan's Alley. So it's just the tightest shot on the Crokinole board. It's my nemesis at times, and at times like the easiest thing in the world to make.
So there are a few. The origin of it is quite interesting, actually. If you are looking for a little bit of an investigatory deep dive into something, the Hogan's Alley origin, there's actually a few different debates as to where the origin is.
Well, come on, it's Ben Hogan.
Yeah,
Misty.
yeah. It's I mean, it is most likely definitely going to be that. But yeah, it's just interesting. If you want to have a look, sort of a deeper dive into it, yeah, do so, because I recommend it. And actually look at where there was a Hogan's Alley in Vancouver as well, which I don't believe is there anymore, but it was part of the city originally. And obviously with the Canadian connection, it's just interesting. Have a look at that as well. Yeah, that was a good question though, because I see a lot of people go, "What do you mean Hogan's Alley? Why is it called that?" And then I can never remember. I'm just like, "Oh, it just is."
Oh, Terry told me.
Yeah. Like, what's your podcast called again? I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, have a look at crokinole.uk.com.
Yeah.
You'll find us there.
Ignorance is bliss, I think. Yeah,
that actually came up, and I was going to mention this at the end, but I'll just do it now. That actually came up when I was in Edinburgh last Thursday, because I went over to see the Edinburgh Crokinole Club, because they've moved venue. So they've moved from, they had like a kind of back room, an upstairs and back corner room type thing at a pub on Lothian Road in Edinburgh, which is very central. But they've moved just, I don't know, mile and a half east to another city centre pub where they are slap bang in the bar. So I wandered in thinking, it's been a while since I've been out in Edinburgh on a Thursday night. Is it going to be busy? Yes, it was rammed. And they've just got, they had, 4 or 5 boards scattered round the bar, like tables on the periphery of the actual bar.
Okay.
And so the pub was just heaving. There was people going, "What's this?" And it was just great. What a great way to do it, instead of hiding away, in a wee back room or, whatever. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. And Andy Malarkey and Scott are just absolutely loving it. You can see they're just buzzing, running it, and people are coming along, asking them what it is. They're just such brilliant ambassadors. So hats off to you for doing that. And why am I saying that is because I was introduced to a guy, I can't remember his name. It was like a Spanish type name. So a name that I would associate from being from Spain or a Spanish speaking country.
Sure.
But he came up to me afterwards and said, "Oh, what's the podcast called?" And I was like, "Hogan's Alley," but you'll never remember that. So just look at crokinole.uk.com.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Well done. You're being a good ambassador that way as well.
I was trying my best to be a good ambassador. I think I played like 2 or 3 games and just actually enjoyed hanging out at the bar.
Yeah.
Drinking a few pints of Campervan's excellent Leith juice.
Sounds good.
Very good. Yeah, and just, yeah.
Awesome.
Just chatting to the good and the great of the Edinburgh Crokinista scene.
Absolutely. So you found yourself in or around Edinburgh. When do they meet?
They meet on so it's the Thursday. Mm-hmm. Now, it was like the second Thursday
of every month.
The month at Jeremiah's Tap Room. And that's at the top of Leith Walk on Elm Row.
It just sounds like the kind of venue that needs a Crokinole night. That sounds brilliant. What a name.
Yeah. Good craft beers. Apparently the food's meant to be decent. I've not tried it yet, but yeah. And Crokinole. What more do you need?
Brilliant. So get down there if you're in or around Edinburgh on the second Thursday of the month.
Get down there. Awesome. Which, interestingly, and it's almost like, this is a professional outfit, but we've established that it isn't. There's a good segue into the next question there, which is from Nigel Croft. And that's how to go about starting a club.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting question with regards to starting a club. As someone who has done it a couple of times now, I think there are a few things that you would need to get lined up. I think the key one is the venue. So work with the venue as best you can. Find one that's approachable, friendly. Pubs are an obvious choice, or bar, tap rooms, bars, that kind of thing. And I think they work ideally because they're used to hosting events, quizzes, karaoke nights, that kind of thing. So it's not such an alien thing to them. So they tend to want to work with you. They need a lot of support at the moment in the UK. That kind of element of hospitality and stuff like that is under a lot of pressure.
They totally do. I think I've said it before, and I don't know if it was on the podcast or just in conversations, but at the moment in the UK, pubs are really rich pickings for starting a club because they're not getting the footfall they used to for like a myriad of reasons. And anything you can do to support them, I think they'd really appreciate, and you'll find that, you'll just be working in synergy.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll want to work with you. So kind of in line with that, work out a day from their side where it's maybe a little bit quieter naturally. A couple of reasons for that. There's an advantage to them because they're going to get new people in on that evening or during that day. But also, you're not going to be taking up space from other things like dining or something like that, which I think is obviously a good shout. So, yeah, get that venue sorted, work with them, and then look to promote it as much as possible. So you don't have to do kind of mad stuff, but just simple things like making sure it gets posted out into local, social media groups or around local clubs or community groups or anything like that that's kind of going on. Anyway, you think,
a flyer at the library.
Yeah, anyway you think there's going to be players. I mean, down the road from me, I've got the local co-op. They've got a big board on the way out that says community events, and people post stuff on there. That kind of place would be, a really good spot. Try and include a photo if you can of Crokinole, because if you just put the name, people have got no idea what it is, and they're not going to be naturally drawn to it. Whereas if they see the game, it's something that kind of intrigues generally. So if you can do something like that, again, it doesn't need to be complicated though. So try and keep that simple, but do be proactive in promoting it. And then once you're there, make sure it's a nice, friendly environment for people to come along. If you're trying to get people to come along to your club and you want them to be regulars, there needs to be a reason for them to come. And that needs to be that it's friendly, that it's approachable, and that it feels like the kind of place they go, oh, do you know what? I can't wait to go back there next time. And the game will do part of that, but it's the people that will actually make them want to come back.
But as we know, Crokinole is an arsehole repellent. And so, just be that advocate for the game.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'd say the final thing is, make sure it's consistent. So if you say it's going to be once a month, make sure it's there once a month. If you can't be there for whatever reason, make sure someone else can be there to run it and make sure it happens.
Yeah.
Because consistency is what will make sure it survives.
But and if you really can't be there, because there's proper reasons, because life throws some unexpected stuff at us, try and let as many people know as you can, and whatever. Get in touch with the venue, let them know. Is there anything you could do to say it's not on this week, month, whatever?
Yeah. One of the in January, the venue that we use for the Carnarvon Crokinole Club, they close for January, so they can do all their maintenance work, and they clean everything, and they reset for the year basically. So in January we don't run it, but everybody knew that, so that was fine.
Month off.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, the beginning of the new year, everyone's trying to do dry January anyway, so it probably works out quite well. Yeah, I know.
I'm screwing my face up.
So that's, I would say that those are really key things. But I'd say enjoy it as well. Like if you're the person organising it, enjoy it. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't feel that it has to be like this professional, amazing thing that you're doing. People will be happy if they feel relaxed and if they can just play a game. That will make people happy. So enjoy it as well. I would
Couldn't agree more. I think I was going to. I mean, you've answered it much more thoroughly than I did. Had in my mind.
Oh.
I was going to say something glib along the lines of, well, you need boards, you need a place, and you need the right attitude.
Yeah.
And you've expanded on that, so perhaps I should have said that first, and then you could have actually put flesh on the bones.
That's your way of. That's what you're telling me of. Stop talking now, Ryan.
No, not at all. I like the way that you're much more expansive on describing things than I am.
Oh, thank you. That's a good question though, and I think we've spoken before about the club scene kind of starting to grow in the UK, and I think it's a good question because people are not really sure maybe how to go about starting it. I would say a little tip would be maybe reach out to anybody else who's already started one.
Now I believe Nigel's going to be at Aircon. So Nigel, have a word with Ryan, have a word with myself, have a word with the Tembeys, have a word with the Rose if they're going to be there, have a word with X, Y, and Z, whoever's.
Yeah.
Have a word with us, and we can point you in the right direction, if nothing else.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully what we've just said is kind of enough, but, if you do have specific questions or ideas that you kind of think, does this work? just reach out to people in the they'd be more than happy to help and give a quick answer to something. Nigel's down in Plymouth, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, so keep an eye out if you're in that kind of part of the world for that club, because
Nigel has boards.
He does. He's been making them, hasn't he? So yeah, you'll be well looked after there. So good luck with it. Good luck with it, Nigel, as well. I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with.
Yeah, and once you get up and running, be sure to let us know so we can try and promote it.
Yeah,
although,
absolutely.
He says that like we're Sky News or something. Set your expectations at an appropriate level. Nigel goes on. He wanted to get 4 questions in for the price of 1, which is fair enough. Essentials for running a tournament. Right, I'll give the overview thing here. Okay. Again, you're going to need a place.
Yep.
Table and seating is important. If you're going to run a round robin, in that it flows naturally. Great big row is just so easy to manage. Great big trestle row of boards and chairs. Chairs often overlooked.
Yeah, and if possible,
when you're at a tournament with good chairs, you know about it.
And if possible, it's not always possible in some venues, but consistent chairs, so that it's effectively the same for everyone. Just keeps it level playing field. Not always possible, but
it doesn't necessarily need to be the same chairs throughout. But if it's similar chairs on either side of the board, that's kind of good enough, I would say. Yeah. Boards you're going to need some plan of how you're going to run the tournament. So what's the format? You're going to need score sheets to hand out to your players, and you're going to need a way of tallying them up. Yep. Now, there's lots of different ways you can do that, but that is the absolute essentials, I would say. You're then getting into the nice-to-haves, like, are you going to run a timer? Are you going to get in a couple of volunteers to help run, registration and things like that? Mm-hmm. If you can get that, that makes life a hell of a lot easier. Prizes, I would encourage you not to go down the route of cash prizes. I just think I will never run a tournament that has cash prizes. Let's just put it that way. Just because I think it's got the potential to bring in unsportsmanlike conduct. Not that I'm saying it would, but it's got the potential.
Yeah.
But prizes. So what? Kind of medals. Is like a little side event of like we did at the Masters last year, of running a sweep on how many 20s are going to be scored by every player, the total amount of 20s over the day, or daft things like the jackpots that we do at the Grand Prix, which was shamelessly stolen from the US Open, or certainly from Jay Malloy, who runs the Extra Pint Crokinole Club in Verheesville and the US Open. So think about what identity you want that tournament to have as well, which is something that I've been conscious of when we were setting up the tour. I wanted different events to feel different, so it's not just the same. You're doing you rock up, you play similar players, and it's a similar form. How can you switch things up a little bit while still giving you the results that you need? And by that I mean, you're able to rank players.
Yeah, I think those are all excellent points. I'd say a couple of little things, sort of in addition. Again, maybe like nice to haves. Make sure it's worthwhile people coming to the tournament. So doing. If you're, setting out how long are people going to be playing for at a minimum, make sure that is value for them. Because if you're expecting people to travel and then they play for half an hour and it's gone, now it could be all right at a local level, but if you're doing something a little bit bigger, just be conscious of that. It shows respect for their time, but also appreciation for the fact they've bothered to come and support your tournament. I would say to give that some consideration when you're thinking about the format.
That's a balancing act there as well, right? Because if you look at tour events, there's usually quite a hard cut after the first round.
Yep.
In which case, a lot of people will be out, but we justify that because it's at a convention. Yep. And so, there'll be a lot of people that just want to rock up and play Crokinole for, an hour or two. and that's them done. And that's
Yep.
totally cool. But for our self-hosted events, we're keeping people involved right up to the end.
Yep.
As far as possible, when it comes
Yeah.
to knockouts, obviously people are going to, not play anymore.
Yeah, but even at some of the events at the conventions and stuff, like Tabletop Scotland, there's still B pools and C pools running. There's lots of ways you can keep people engaged. So I think just be respectful of people's time if they come in to support you. But also, if you're looking for resources, there's some great videos on YouTube about how to run a tournament. I think the Tracy's did a series as well about them. And we have things like the score sheets. They're available on the Crokinole UK website. So if you just want a basic 4-end score sheet, you can download that as a PDF and you can just print those.
I forgot one of the most important things.
Oh, pens.
A great big bag of pens and or pencils.
I was just about to say pens.
Because that is really something that could ruin your day if you've got like 3 pens at the organizer's desk.
Yeah. And I would say one other thing, if you're going to be organizing on the day, get in your head how you want that day to go. So, because it will help you in terms of like, right, even if it's just rough timings, go, right, we need to be here by this time, then this time, and so on. It will just help you get everything in your mind as to how you want it to go. If you're going to be asking people to bring boards, make sure that's all organized. What is it you say is better to have too many so that you're looking at them, not for them?
Always be rather looking at them than looking for them.
Yeah, exactly. So just little things like that will make a successful tournament. But I'm going to go back to something I said about with the clubs as well, is just try and make sure you enjoy it. Decide if you are going to play or not, but just try and make sure you enjoy it on the day as well.
Play.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're thinking about running a tournament, Nigel. So if you've any other kind of more granular questions, then don't hesitate to get in touch with myself, Ryan, whoever. Ask anyone in the Crokinole community, and I will guarantee with a 99.9% accuracy rates that they will, give you an answer.
Yeah,
whether that's helpful or not.
We've done it a few times now, haven't we? So I like to feel we know what we're talking about a little bit.
Nigel goes on to ask about great practice exercises. What do you do to practice?
I play. I don't really do practice stuff because I don't know. I just, for me, the joy of Crokinole is playing against somebody else. And so I just try and, if I need to practice, I will get together with someone and play. I'm fortunate in that, obviously, with 2 clubs, that there's generally, if I need a practice session, I can contact a person. I normally rope Joel in, or sometimes Chris or whatever, and just say, like, do you fancy getting together and doing a bit of practicing? I find that's the best for me. I think if you want to run drills, obviously, go and have a look at the Crokinole books by Michel Cloutier, because I think they include some drills. There's plenty of videos of people doing bits and pieces on our Facebook group, the likes of Steve Burrows and others who show some practice things that they do. Look at RP. RP posts some crazy practice stuff as well, which is really funny. Some of it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, some of it's quite serious. So if you're looking for drills and that kind of thing, if that's what's going to work for you, go and look at what other people are doing. But I think those are potentially 2 very good resources to kind of grab stuff to go for.
Yeah, I'd agree. When I'm guilty of, like, with about a month to go to a tournament, so i.e. today, my brain goes, oh, you must start practicing, do some drills, get the board out, sit on the table, do some drills. And I seldom do these days because I'd much rather just play. Yeah. But if you're looking for drills, the old Tracy videos on drills are some good ones. Obviously, sit and do open 20s, but don't just sit and do them. If you've watched the Jeremy Tracy video, then I'm going to be quite plagiaristic here. But I remember it stuck with me because he said, sit down and do 100 a day, but write down, after every 10, how many you got, and then do that 10 times, and then you've got a percentage, and then track that. And it stuck with me. What was it? What's recorded gets rewarded. I think it was something that was a I don't know, like a basketball coach or something said to him when he was at high school or something. So yeah, if you're going to sit down and do open 20s, don't do it, robotically. Do it with some purpose. Record it. I think it's one that I got from there as well. The Brian Cook drill. So you get 8 buttons and put them behind the pegs on the opposite side of the board from you, and then shoot down Hogan's either side. So 4 on each side behind the pegs, stacked up. And the idea is you want to hit the bottom one so it flies off and the rest of the stack just drops down perfectly in place. And if you're doing that 8 times in the bounce, then you've got Hogan's pretty much where you want it to be.
Yeah.
But there's lots of other ones. Have a look at the Tracy boards. There was like the YouTube channel. There was buttons on the outside of every peg that you had to shoot off, and buttons on the inside of every peg that you had to shoot off, and also see if you can get bounce back 20s on. These kind of things, if you're doing them, will help. But ultimately, Ryan's right. It's practicing, because you never know what your opponent is going to do.
I don't think you can ever quite recreate an actual live game, but I think those practices are good. The instinct is to go for open 20s, and I think if you're very much early on in Crokinole, practicing that, it's a core skill set for the game. I don't think that that's going to be problematic. But one of the things I started doing is when I sit down at a board at a tournament now, obviously you go for a couple of open 20s, but I always shoot Hogan's on both sides. So just try and get my eye in for that. So yeah, do Hogan's practicing and practice shooting across at different pieces, hide them far away. And if you want to do that kind of thing, but yeah, if you can, just try and get games where you're against an opponent who is, at least an equal kind of skill level to you, so that you can kind of just build off that. Although saying that, if you get ready for a tournament, playing a newer player sometimes can be really advantageous, because that is the kind of player you might come up against at a tournament. And they can sometimes throw some shots which you go, oh, that's not the obvious shot to go for there. But then you're like, oh, they've left me in a bit of a, a nasty spot or whatever. So
just, get your board out.
Yeah.
If your board's out, I really want to get one on the wall, because I think, I think I'm going to be up against it like downstairs in the living room. That might not get past corporate management.
Yeah.
But if you've got a board somewhat accessible, because if it's in a case like tucked away, then it's a pain in the ass to get out. So yeah. I'm looking at this room. I need a Crokinole board on the wall, and I need my bass guitar on the wall, because then it'll be so much easier. But I would also need a table in here to put the Crokinole board on. Let's not go down that road.
So yeah, in terms of practicing, though, I would always suggest just try and get games in. That's going to be best.
Yeah, getting games in is the absolute best thing that you can do against a variety of opponents, preferably who are much better than you.
Yeah.
Final one from Nigel was, how about a Makers Forum or things I wish I'd known before I'd started? And I think that's about making boards.
Yes, I think so.
I think that's something that, again, have a word with me the next time you see me, Nigel. I can put you in direction of a few people, or just put out a shout out on our kind of Facebook group or any other of our social media channels. Other people that I'm sure would probably help, Matt Prowse, Terry Wilding, and Sky might be up for sharing a bit of wisdom. Steve Mellors, I'm sure, would give you some pointers, although, maybe he might be a little bit cagey now that he's all in business with it. I say that with my tongue in my cheek. I'm sure he would give you some pointers. Listen to our interview with Jeremy, because we asked him quite a bit about board making. Look, it's not something that's absolutely on our radar about how we help grow that part of it, but it's something that I think if we can help act as a conduit, we'd be more than happy to, or I would certainly be more than happy to.
Yes, I agree. I think it's probably, like you say, it's probably not going to be in the remit of Crokinole UK to kind of, like you say, facilitate that. But if there's something we can do to help, even if it's just to advertise the fact that it exists, we would definitely do that, wouldn't we? So,
yeah.
I
and
think
who knows? Maybe in 2-3 years' time, there'll be like a 3-hour seminar of board building at Aircon or Tabletop Scotland or something where, like, you know, Nigel's rocking up with all these bits of wood.
Yeah.
And a sander.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And I tell
put the shout out about it, I think, Nigel. And, you know, if we can help join the dots in any way, let us know.
Yeah, sounds good.
Moving on from Nigel, because I've had far too much of him.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, this cake.
Helen Temby asks, when is the compilation of podcast songs coming out?
That is a great question. Do you know what? I will get them on the website shortly. Let's get them up there as individual tracks. But yeah, I will do that in the coming weeks. There we go. That's my answer to that question. Very non-committal, but still committed.
Q2 to Q4.
Yeah, it'll be
2026.
It will happen in this decade.
It'll happen this year, maybe.
Yeah.
They're on hard drives. It should be easy enough. It's just a case of gathering the will.
Yeah. And there might be a few more on their way as well. I know Jason's working on a bigger project, so there might be some exciting stuff on the way for that. So
you mean our favourite albino?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Spoiler.
Next question from Brandon. Why is George such a nice human? And why does Dan always beat Harry? So those are two very different questions.
Right, well, I'll take the first one.
Okay.
And the second one if you want. I'll give you my thoughts. Right, I'll answer the second one first.
I'm assuming he means George McCarthy.
I think so.
Yeah. There are other very nice Georges, though, to be fair.
Look, George is... he's lovely, isn't he? He's just like super chill, super laid back. I don't know. It's probably because he has the heartbeat of a sperm whale, which I think we've established as fact before.
He is also a tree surgeon, and I suspect that someone who spends their life hanging from trees, I think they have to be relaxed.
With chainsaws.
Yeah, I think you have to be relaxed for that, right? Otherwise, it doesn't really work. So I suspect that is part of it as well.
But you're right, Brandon. He's absolutely zen.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
Why does Dan always beat Harry? I think it's Big Brother.
Yeah, I wanted to say that.
Big Brother syndrome playing out there. Yeah.
Do you know what the funny thing was?
You've got my, heartfelt empathy. Having a big brother that's 9 years older than me, who used to, beat me at everything.
That was the funny thing I was just about to say when I've got 5 younger brothers, and I know, so I definitely kind of know that big brother feeling, but also even we went on a big family holiday a few years ago, and I don't play FIFA and stuff like that anymore, but my brothers all still did. Anyway, we still sat down and played a game on the brand new FIFA, which should just come out about a month before. And I still won 1-0 against one of my younger brothers who plays it religiously. And I was like, oh, yeah, I said, that's just the way it is, And he's like, well, we'll have a rematch. I'm like, no, I'm good. So I suspect you are right. It's that brother thing. I think they're both excellent players. I will say they are both very, very good players.
They are. And I'm not sure Dan does always beat Harry. But,
no, I don't think so. It could also be that pressure environments, right? Some players just handle it slightly better. You'd be surprised at how... if you get through to a final or something, it does make you quite nervous.
It does.
Because you want to do well, ultimately. Not for any other reason than you want to do good. So
it might be a silly, flicky game, but you've invested some time and energy and emotion in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gerald Harter, shall we? We'll keep it. We'll keep it transatlantic.
Yes.
And just run with that for a little while. So Gerald said, a lot of people outside the UK listen to the podcast, which I find a fact that is bewildering and also kind of quite humbling at the same time. He'd like to hear the experience of UK players who have adventured to foreign tournaments and the UK experience of players coming in to attend UK tournaments, differences in style, strategy, and so on. We're not necessarily the right people to ask. We've seen people from Europe and North America come to our tournaments, and in some instances we've played against them. But I think we're going to try and do a mini episode about that. So, if you're at Aircon, which is our next tournament, I think I'm going to have a roving reporting studio with me. So come and give us your thoughts on your experiences of playing elsewhere. For those of you outside the UK or that are not at Aircon, who have played in the UK or played abroad, send us a voice note. Send us your thoughts. I think that's the easiest way for us to answer it.
Yeah, that sounds good. So we're not really answering it, but we will do.
I'll kind of answer it.
Oh, go on.
So the second Grand Prix at Tabletop Scotland, so I can't remember the year, but it'd be 2023, maybe 2022, I don't know. The year RP won, when we were upstairs, away from the main, we had our own room, just right next to the bar. It was perfect. I thought RP was quite a defensive-minded player when I saw him playing the night before, and maybe even played against him.
Okay.
Now, whether that is a national trait, I doubt it, or whether that's just a smart trait in that, a good defense will win you things more often than a good attack will.
Yeah, RP is also an ice hockey goalkeeper, so I think defense is possibly a little bit more in his wheelhouse, or just in his mind, maybe. Whether that transfers over, I don't know, but
that also means that, goalies are notoriously nuts. And ice hockey goalies,
doubly so.
Multiply that by 10.
By 2 big leg pads.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a fascinating question, Gerald. My gut feeling is that it's probably less to do with the culture you're from or the country you're from, and more to do with you as a player and where you are on your journey as a player.
I'm going to throw in a slight variation on that as well, in that I think it might also be dependent on what is the standard board you face. Mm-hmm. So I know over in Hungary, for example, the boards they use are very, very fast. Very fast.
Oh, they're lightning quick.
Yeah. And so I suspect that is going to impact your playing style, right? It has to. So I think there's a few different things that might come into that. But yeah, maybe there is a cultural element to how people approach the game. I mean, fundamentally, it's quite a simple game. So there's, in terms of variety of playing styles, there is some, but it's not huge, is it? They're all going to be within a similar kind of wedge, as it were. But I think, yeah, it's a really interesting question. So we'll get people who are a bit more experienced to kind of come up with their answers to that and see what they want to say.
Yeah, and send us a voice note if you're unable to, provide us with something in person at Aircon. But yeah, it's something it did fire something in my brain, that question. I was like, but yeah, there's a lot to that. I wonder if my gut response is right or not. I don't know. Gerald also asked, why do many events on the UK tour seem to sell out? Why not just expand the event to accommodate demand? Ryan, I'll give that one to you.
So part of it is to do with the venue that we use. Obviously, then the argument will move venues. Potentially. I think there's only a couple that have sold out, really.
The Masters.
The Masters and St Albans tend to be the ones that do. Now, St Albans is our biggest event that's self-hosted.
Yes.
And the Masters is limited because of the format. Now, The question does come up then, why not expand it to accommodate more players? Well, the format is what makes the Masters quite unique. The whole point of the Masters event itself is about giving the opportunity to the real Crokinole enthusiasts to spend the day playing against the other, high-level players. It's a bit unique in terms of how it's laid out. I think one of the challenges we have here in the UK, ultimately, although it's becoming a lot less of an issue now, is access to boards was always been a bit of a challenge as well. So expanding an event to say more people is not as straightforward as going, oh, let's just put more tables out. Those boards were a problem for a while. They're getting access to them.
Yep.
It's becoming less of an issue, but ultimately we're still reliant on the idea that people are going to bring, their boards to tournaments. So I think it's one of those things we always monitor. We do take it very seriously how we consider each of the tour events, what they look like, their identity, where they are, all those things we give a lot of consideration to. I am conscious that the Masters sold out in 2.5 hours, which is a quick time for a very niche kind of event. There's not masses we can do about that if it's popular. But the bigger events, I know St Albans, we're looking at probably expanding that at the end of the year to accommodate more. So yeah, we're working on it, and we're all volunteers, and I don't want to fall back on that as an excuse because it's not an excuse, but we are all volunteers, and so we try and give up as much of our time in order to get it done as possible, and give it as much thought as possible. But yeah, we can't always accommodate everyone, sadly.
Yeah, sadly that's the case. Limitations are probably more our self-hosted events.
Yeah.
I mean, the only one I think that regularly sells out is the Masters. The ones at conventions have been there, but let's not focus on them. So the ones that we run ourselves, there's risk there for us as a group of people trying to build the game in the UK. And if we book too big in a venue, do we have the boards to fill it? Will we get the players in? If we book too small, you get where I'm coming from. It's a real balancing act and what we're trying to achieve. So when we announce that things have sold out, I suppose we're doing that with a bit of pride. So
I can't believe we've got to the point where some events sell out, to be honest. I didn't, that's just the reality of it. We always monitor it, and we're kind of, but yeah, apologies if there's ever an event that you wanted to go to that was sold out. But hopefully there's plenty of other events you can come to that,
So
don't do that.
Why we don't just expand the event is sometimes because we've paid and locked in a venue that we thought was big enough, and also that we were able to get enough boards in, because we're not in the situation like the Worlds in Tavistock where there's boards that are just used for that, I think, and Jeremy will probably also supply a lot. On the convention side, we've got a bit of room to grow. I think 104 or something would be the max we're looking at a convention. And we've still not hit that. 99 was the closest that we came from, and that's working closely with Steve Mellors of Meeplewood, because when you get to that level of we need 20, 30 boards, whatever, it becomes quite a pain for us to logistically manage that and ensure that we've got, that extra overspill as well. Not overspill, that the contingency boards.
Yeah.
So hopefully that kind of answers it, and we've not fudged it too much.
No, the way we see it is it can be viewed as a negative, but at the moment, with where the game is and the efforts we're putting into it, the fact that we can sell out events, I think, is a positive thing.
Yes.
So it's good to view it that way.
Yeah. Although, if we are selling out, then it implies that people are missing out.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Not everyone can have everything, can they?
No, not even us. Here's my favourite question, or possibly it's in my top 2 anyway.
Okay.
So Jay Malloy of Extra Pint fame asks, "What's a button?"
We're just
now every time I see that cropping up, I just laugh. I have a little chuckle to myself because it'll be on the most random things. Like, not Extra Pint, not necessarily NCA, but, Tracy Boards are doing something at an event, and they say, we'll give you, a board and buttons. What's a button? And I've got a secret feeling that Jay knows exactly. Well, no, hang on a minute. there's some semantics in here, isn't there? What's a button versus what's the button? And I'm perfectly sure that Jay knows exactly what the button is because he presses it every time and gets a reaction from Jeremy.
Yeah, well done, Jay. I don't think we're in the position to answer this question, so I think we just move on. I don't think it needs an answer. I think it's better. I think it's better as just a question. It just lives as a question.
Yeah, like, life, the universe, and everything.
Yeah, exactly. If we gave the answer, no one would understand it anyway. So we won't like. It says the computer says in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I can give the answer, but you won't like it.
It's 42.
Yeah.
Yeah, beauty of a question, Jay. Chopper McCluskey.
Yeah. He's saying what? Yeah, go
on.
On
you go.
What about having a dedicated board that comes out only for the final match of a tournament and the quarters and semi-final boards are picked at random by a non-qualified player? It's interesting. Yeah, interesting.
Right, so
question.
there's two questions in there.
Yeah, there are.
So having the quarters and the semi-final boards picked by a random non-qualified player, I mean, that's something we could implement. Generally, we ask the players that have qualified.
Yeah, which one they'd like.
Yeah.
Or they get assigned them depending on where they are in the room, right? Sometimes you just go, right, you're on this table, you're on that table.
Yes.
Sometimes that happens. And that's what I do at Wrexham, just to make sure everyone's spread out. Yeah, interesting. I think you could have a player decide. I'm not sure what the advantage or disadvantage of choosing the board is because everyone's played on all the boards. So, yeah, I don't know.
One that suits your style a bit more?
I guess you'd have to remember exactly which one.
One that you're really kind of vibing on the feel of the glide.
Yeah. But then maybe your opponent is as well. So not really, I don't know. Yeah, it's a funny one. The dedicated board that comes out only for final matches. Yeah, I mean, that could be something that happens eventually, couldn't it? Like the Noble coin. We have the Noble board or something.
It's a bit easier to transport 10p around the country.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Than a Crokinole board. And that's, I'm not poo-pooing the suggestion or the question there. But there is a bit of logistics. I don't know we're quite there yet with to say, right, this is the board that every final will be played on, or most finals will be played on. I don't know.
Could get there. I think it's something that could happen in the future.
I mean, in an ideal world, if you would have a stock of 40 boards for Crokinole UK and a van.
Or a trailer or something, yeah.
And storage for them, that we were able to drive around the country, but
we're a bit off that.
We are, yeah. Due to the unique way we're funded, we are, massively off that.
It'd be nice to get there to that point.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you want right. Even when all boards are the same, there's some that are that wee bit better.
They're made from a natural product, so they are, by their nature, they're not going to be identical, and that's part of the charm. That is part of the charm of something that's made out of wood. Or maybe, I'd say the Winter Olympics are on currently. All the curling stones are made from the same granite, and all this. They all have their own personality. They get to choose ones they want to play in what order, and all this because they're made from a natural product, so they are not consistent. They're not exactly the same. That's part of the charm of it. I do wonder. I wonder if George is maybe thinking in terms of a dedicated board for the final. Maybe it hasn't been played on all day, and so maybe it's just naturally in a slightly better nick by the end of the day. Hasn't got any grease or fingerprints or that kind of thing on it. Maybe
it's not unusual for us to re-wax the knockout boards, though.
No. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
question.
There is that Crokinole UK branded board.
There is.
Which arguably we've not made the best use of yet.
There we go. Next time George is in the final, we'll make him play on that.
But yeah, again, while that's great, I'm not sure how well that would go down if it was at one of the conventions where Steve supplies all the...
I agree. It would have to be
boards.
one of ours, wouldn't it?
That would be a bit off. wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Now we've got the final, we'll play in a Tracy.
Yeah.
that would be off.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting question. I think there definitely will be a time where stuff like that hopefully comes into place. Probably, in the nicest possible way, probably a lot further down the line. If it continues to grow.
Maybe I'll consider something at Aircon where we're looking at the final 4 boards for quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
So what should be the final 4?
Yeah,
and then have a 10-minute session of just a quick get them together, get them re-waxed. Job's a good one.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, there you go, George. Hopefully that answers the question there, sort of. So, question from Mark Paddington, Padders, the bear himself. Whether we think Crokinole ever has a chance of being considered a sport, especially with the competitive element and tournament play becoming more prevalent. Now, he's got an ulterior motive for this question, which is, and I'll give it a bit more context. He says there are several current sports that could easily be considered games: darts, snooker, pool, bowls, etc., etc. Although my friend says that any game where you don't need to change your shoes can't be a sport. Which, okay. However, I always have to wear my neon pink stilettos when I play Crokinole, or it just isn't the same game for me.
I'll vouch from there. He does, actually. Yeah, he slips into them under the table. I was
going to say, last event, I thought he was looking a bit taller.
Only when he's sitting down.
He says, I guess I'm asking this question for purely selfish reasons. If it becomes a sport, I could probably legitimately put it on the PE curriculum, which is the physical education curriculum.
Right, I've got 2 answers to this.
Yeah, go on.
My first one is, I don't think Crokinole's a sport. Right, in the same way that I don't think darts or snooker or billiards or pool are sports. But if it became a sport and you can put it on the curriculum, then I could absolutely be convinced to have 2 opinions that are diametrically opposed to each other.
Now, I'm gonna come at from a slightly different point of view, in that I think that it could be, because those other things are considered sports. And there's 2 things for that. There's a skill set that is developed and requires attention and the continued ability over and over again, which is also has a
like that's a tick.
Yeah, and it also has a physical element to it. Now, the degree of physicality is irrelevant. It has a physical requirement to play, and therefore I would say it could be. I don't think it ultimately matters, though.
Unless we can, convince Sport Scotland, Sport England, and the other quango bodies in the UK to declare it a sport, in which case you get on the curriculum. I would actually say, despite everything I've said, that it's not a sport. Just declare it one, Mark, because people go to tournaments for it. And in fact, was it not? When we interviewed the Midlands boys, after they went to Budapest, for the World Cup. Now, one of them got funding through work.
No, they got time off.
It's still funding.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah,
still funding.
Yeah, that's it. Because he was representing Great Britain at a sporting event. Yeah.
So there we go. There's a precedent been set. I'll hand it over to our legal team. And see if that's sufficient enough. I would say if you want to get on the curriculum at your school, just belligerent your way in. Don't take no for an answer, and say, look, it's a sport because it's competitive, there's skill, there's physicality to it, although at a very relaxed level. So, I'd quite happily campaign for that, even though I don't think it's a sport.
I think it has from a school kind of point of view as well. Obviously, it teaches mathematics, which is a good thing as well. Yeah, I know that obviously darts is just blowing up here in the UK. I don't know what it's like elsewhere, but in the UK at the moment, because of the rise of Luke Littler and so on, darts is, there's more young people playing darts than ever before. Now,
for our overseas listeners, Luke Littler is a teenager who looks like a 40-year-old.
And he's a 2-time world champion at the age of 18, which is unbelievable. But the rise of darts is interesting because there's a physical element to darts, but darts is really hard It looks like it's going to be straightforward, but it's really difficult to do very well. And there are lots of people who are good at darts, but they cannot get very good at it. I think Crokinole's barrier to entry is a lot lower than something like darts, but you still requires an awful lot of practice to get really, really good at it. So I don't know. I think it can kind of go both ways with that. I can see
it probably takes an awful lot of practice to get really, really good at Crokinole.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, imagine how many hours Steve Burrows put in to sink 90, however many it was, 20s in a row. I think that's hours of practice.
Yes. Oh yeah, 100%. And that's what I'm saying.
Days.
I think it can be. I think it can be argued either way. I know from a selfish point of view for Mark, he wants it to be considered a sport, but like you say, just make it happen.
Yeah, just tell people it's a sport.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, win-win. Helen's come up. Helen Tembe is back with the second question, which she put in at a different time, asking the most difficult one I think we've got here. So what's our personal highlights from the podcast and from the tours overall?
Oh, okay. I've got. Should we do them? Should we do podcast first, then tour?
Okay.
I think from the podcast, I think our interviews that we did last summer, I think are always going to stand out because I think they were really interesting. I love the fact that people agree to do them. So I think they were a bit of a standout highlight for me because it was kind of like moving it on into something different. And the fact that people were willing to jump on the episodes with us, hopefully we get some more in this year, I think was a real highlight. And I mean, the fact that people downloaded and listened in general, I think is what's going to jump out. But yeah, I think those interviews are something that we can be really proud of because I really like the conversational manner of those. And actually, I don't listen back to most episodes, but those I did listen back to and I really enjoyed. So
I would back you up on that. Yeah, all three of those interviews were special, and Helen, you were part of one of them. It was great as well because, as I think I mentioned before, Michelle and I have kept in touch just via Messenger, mainly talking about hockey, but also occasionally about Crokinole. And so that's nice to know that, yeah, probably that is my personal highlight, that I've gained a friend in another country that I've never met on the back of him writing some books about Crokinole and me wanting to talk to him about it.
Yeah, I'd say that's a really good one.
What about the fact that we got beyond 3 episodes?
Yeah,
which is the big killer point for most podcasts, apparently.
Oh, there you go. So, what about your tour highlight?
Oh, geez, I don't know, man. It's so hard for me to answer that. I mean, the fact that it's there is actually a genuine source of pride for me, and that we've kept it going. At a personal level, probably, getting 5th in Wrexham year before last, or 7th place at the UK's last year.
Yeah,
at a personal level, but it's more about the actual events that I've run, and so I can't. Was it a tour event? The when RP won at Scotland at the GP, was that a tour? I think it must have been. I think it probably was.
Yeah, I think it was. That would have been the first ever, right? That would have been the first
running
event,
that,
I suspect.
I think is probably in the sense of the tour is probably my personal highlight because it was at an event that had started up. It was the first event of the tour. It was just the room, the vibe, everything that day was just spot on. It was everything Crokinole should and could be.
Awesome. So what you're saying is the first one was the best one, and we've yet to beat it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was really mean of me. You said something really positive, and I just completely tore it down. That was very naughty.
I know, what a dick.
I think you should be very proud about the tour, actually, because it was your idea, and you had this concept, and you were able to bring together the people who could make that happen. Because there's no way you would have been able to do it on your own, and that's not a criticism. It's just too big. What you had in mind was too big for one person to do. It's probably too big for 4 people to run, really, but we make it happen. But I think you should be really proud of bringing that together because, off your back, look at everything that's kind of flourished from that. So yeah, kind of a bit of like the Godfather of Crokinole in the UK, a little bit of a competitive Crokinole, let's say. So yeah, well
I
done.
just imagine when I step away and I try to get away and they drag me back in.
Yeah. I think for myself, I think Wrexham being a success was a bit of a personal highlight. Just because anything that brings people to North Wales, I really like. It's a beautiful part of the world. It's an underappreciated part of the world in many ways. No, I'm not. I obviously compared to other parts of the world.
No, you're right.
And I think bringing anybody here who can just and the fact they go away with a positive experience is kind of it's just nice for me. And I know that sounds a bit silly, but I'm not nationalistic. I don't feel particular pride about anything where I come from. I just want people to have a nice time when they come here, and I'm really glad that they did.
No, but if you've got guests coming to your
it's
neck
kind
of the
like
woods,
that. Yeah, it's kind of that sort of feeling.
You want to. Yeah, you want to put on something that makes them happy to have been there and makes you kind of stand that little bit taller.
Absolutely. And then I think from a just a very personal point of view, I think probably highlight would be the perfect game that I shared with Chris Griffin at the UK's last year.
Ah, sweet.
Just because that was the first tournament where I feel like I actually played to my potential. Before that, I felt like I was a bit all over the place, and that was the first one where felt really good about it. I didn't do it exceptionally well, but I just felt good about how I played. And the fact that I got to share a perfect game with someone who is in Carnarvon Crokinole Club with myself was just kind of special. It just felt good.
Yeah.
The whole vibes around that event were excellent. But yeah, that I think probably as in terms of if we had to pick like one little simple moment, I think that would be one for me. And then as a very, very close follow up to that would be winning the B pool in Tabletop Scotland this past year.
Oh yay!
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, and of course, the Grand Prix at Tabletop Scotland has only thrived because James Temby, the bad boy of Crokinole, won the inaugural.
He walked so that everyone else could run.
Yeah. So thanks, James.
Helen will really appreciate the fact we turned that question into that.
I don't know where that came from.
There we go. Right, let's wrap it up. What's the last question?
Jason Noble asks, who's your favourite albino?
He just does this to get us in trouble.
He does. It's you, James. It's you, Jason.
There we go. That's it.
James, because I'm looking at all your names. You've possibly the most names outside any member of the royal family I've ever met.
That's it. We're not talking about it anymore. We're not stroking his ego. Yeah. We're not doing any of that. That's it. That question done.
He's also my favourite blind player.
Yeah. That is funny. The first tournament I went to, sat down opposite. He beat me because he's a good player. And someone went to me and said, "Oh, you do know he's like legally blind?" I'm like, "What?"
I've got one up on that.
Go on.
First time I met him was at the UK's year I run it when Ian buggered off to Tavistock. And it was like quarterfinals or something, and against Jason played, and he had a commanding lead, and he just said, "Oh, have I mentioned that I'm registered blind?"
Brilliant.
Which just crushed me.
Yeah.
So thanks for that.
Yeah, I love the fact he keeps that in the back pocket. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for everyone who submitted questions. That was really fun, actually. It was really interesting to kind of see everything. I know some of them were, quite lighthearted. Some of them were actually quite deep. So I really appreciate it. If you've got
that
any
took
more,
us longer than I thought it would.
I know. If you've got any more questions that you'd like us to answer, by all means, leave a comment, and maybe we'll do one of these again. In fact, maybe we probably will, right? Maybe later in the year or something, we'll circle back and do it again.
if the questions are there, I'm sure we'll try to answer them, because I'm also sure that we'll run out of other stuff to talk about.
Yep. So just for upcoming news, upcoming events, Aircon, come and play at the Crokinole Classic at Aircon. If you are there, or if you are thinking about going, grab a ticket,
Yep.
come along. You'll have a great time. We're playing
Saturday, the 14th of March. We're
Yep.
going to be at the Hilton in the
Yep.
billiard room, which looks swanky. I'm going to stick my neck out and say this could be the swankiest place that Crokinole has been played at tournament level in the UK.
Definitely. There's no doubt. It's got chandeliers. I mean, it definitely is that. And then if you are thinking towards the future, just very quickly, if you're thinking about further events, the tickets for the Great British Flick Off at UK Games Expo will be available very shortly. They'll be available on the UK Games Expo website. We'll be sure to announce when they go live. And following on from that, the Leicester Crokinole Crown Cup will also be going live very shortly. That's being run again by Sammy, and he's confirmed his formats and everything. And it looks like it's going to be a really good event this year. So running doubles and singles as well. Again, we will announce when the tickets become available for that. They'll be available through the Crokinole UK.
You going to play doubles
website.
with me, buddy?
I've already been asked by George McCarthy to play with him again. But I actually don't think I'm going to be able to go now, because there's a wedding. A friend of mine's getting married on the Friday, and I think it's just going to be too much to try and squeeze both in. I think, but I'm not sure yet. I haven't told George that, so this is how he's finding out. But
George, I mean, I might be available.
Yeah, I will certainly pass him your way if I can't. But I'm trying to work it out if I can. So yeah. I suspect not, though. I hadn't put 2 and 2 together until last night at the Crokinole Club. Yeah, so we'll see.
Life gets in the way.
Life gets in the way. That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep an eye out for stuff coming up. If you've got anything to post, any clubs or anything, share them with us. And just, I want to give one very final shout out before we leave. If you haven't done so already, please check out flickclub.org.
Yes.
Fantastic work that has been done to build out a website to create Crokinole connections, but not just individuals, clubs, tournaments, groups, loads of stuff.
So this is basically just going to rip up the Crokinole connections maps and put them in the bin, and have one dedicated source worldwide for Crokinistas to find out what's happening in their local area, or in their unlocal area, somewhere that they might be travelling to. Yeah,
so massive shout out to Nick Osmore for his work on that, because that has been an absolute labour of love. Go and check it out, because it's really impressive what's being done there, and there's stuff being added all the time. So big shout out to Nick. But if you haven't signed up to flickclub.org, go and do it, because it's really straightforward to do, and you get to build out a nice little profile and everything. Sign up for your club. It's really good.
There we are.
There we go. Pleasure as always, Terry. I will see you at Aircon.
You will.
I will see you at Aircon, hopefully, listeners as well. Thank you for listening to us. And if you could, share it with someone you think might enjoy it, we'd appreciate that.
Thank you.
It's Hogan's Alley, baby.